Hey YouTube, Rob here. Thought I'd do a short video on a couple of my knives that I use for camping and I carry when I'm hunting, and these are kind of my two main knives that I use. Actually, they're pretty much the only two knives I own. I do also have a Glock field knife that I use when I camp. Also, it's not as good for everyday tasks, but it will split firewood. It's good for batoning and more heavy use than what I use. That's mainly what I use it for, is to baton wood to get a fire started. But the two knives I use the most are my Mora, and this one is the it's heavy duty. It's got a little longer blade. This is the 4-inch blade version of the Mora. I think they make another one, and it's a little thicker tang than the others. I can't remember if this one's called the heavy duty or the robust. But it's a slightly bigger blade than what you get on most of your average Mora knives. And this is probably the knife I've used the most. I've had this knife for probably 5 years, and this one just a little close to that, my Condor. Now both of these knives have carbon steel blades, and if you watch my video I posted yesterday, you'll see kind of the process I used to get this black finish on the blade. I used a vinegar solution, or well, actually just vinegar, to put that patina on the blade. It gives it a degree of rust protection on exposed carbon steel. But these are both great knives. The Mora knife is not a full tang knife. It does have a rat tail. It comes partially back through the handle, but still, this is a very heavy use knife. I've used this to. I've also batoned wood with this, believe it or not. Not big stuff, but this is more. Honestly, what I've used this knife for the most is skinning deer and small game, squirrels and such. But this is an excellent little skinning knife. It does an excellent job on small game as well as bigger size game, such as a deer. And I've used this knife the most of any knife I've owned. And of course, it comes with a little plastic case, and it had a little stud on here where you could actually hang another case on the front, and it just would always catch on stuff, so I just cut it off. But it's just a little plastic case. It's got a little you can clip it over your belt like this, so you don't have to take your belt off in order to put this knife on. It goes in, locks in there. There's no rattle. This knife is, you're not going to lose that out of that. That's a very well designed little package. It's lightweight. This little knife with the sheath comes in at, let's see there, you're talking 4.7 ounces. So this is a really lightweight little knife. And like I said, it is carbon steel. They do also make these in a stainless version. So I always prefer the carbon because I tend to be able to sharpen them easier. And it does have a 4-inch blade. So overall length on the knife is about right at almost 9 inches. So you got a 4-inch blade and 9 inches overall. So feels good in the hand. Got a nice comfortable handle. Anybody who's looking for a inexpensive knife to use every day, you would not go wrong with buying a Mora of any type. But outstanding little knife. My second knife I use is my Condor, and this is made in El Salvador by Condor, and this one is called the Bushcraft Basic, and it has a 5-inch blade, and if I ain't mistaken, these are 1065 carbon steel. So 5-inch blade, actually just a hair over 5. Very nice feeling. It's got a wood handle. I don't know what type of wood that is. It's probably some kind of hardwood. 3 brass rivets. When I first got this knife, it had a black epoxy coating on the blade, and I sanded that all off and done the etch on it. Now, this is the original etch that I done several years ago, and this knife is still, there's never been any rust form on it or anything of that nature. It's just an excellent knife. I highly recommend Condor knives. They're outstanding. This one, it fits a hand good. It's about the same thickness as the Mora as far as blade thickness. Outstanding knife. Doesn't have any type of choil or finger rest or anything like that. So, you know, you've got to kind of watch. And the blade comes all the way up to almost the handle. So you got to kind of use a little caution when you're coming up on your knife. But these are outstanding knives, and they used to be fairly reasonable. They went up in price to where they're not hardly as great a value as they used to be. When I bought this knife several years ago, I probably gave, I'm going to guess, around $30 for it, in that vicinity. So at that point, they were still kind of an upstart, and their knives were fairly reasonable. But this is an excellent knife. I've used this a whole lot camping, and use it to make feather sticks and things like that to start fires with. I have done some light batoning with it. It's a very, very quality built knife. But at today's prices, I think they're probably a little overpriced for what you get. I mean, it's pretty much a basic knife. You know, if you think about it, it's kind of a reshaped old hickory butcher knife kind of feel to it. But it is an excellent knife. It's good for cooking and things like that, slicing things. Condors do come with very nice leather sheaths. These leather sheaths that they come in are outstanding. I mean, they're just top quality, good leather. You can't beat the Condor quality for their sheaths. And the knife fits down in there good. It's not going to come out. It's well retained in the holster. Does have a belt loop there, so you do have to run your belt through that. There's no means for quickly attaching it to your clothing or pack or anything like that, so you do have to do that. But both of these are excellent knives. They can do anywhere from small tasks to from making feather sticks to batoning wood, and I have done it with both. Are they best suited for that? Probably not, but you know, I have used them for both. But if you're in the market for a kind of a utility, everyday use knife, either one of these would be a great choice. Honestly, the Mora, for what they sell for, is probably the best option. This is an outstanding knife. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do a review on a Mora and say it was a bad knife. So, and if I could only own one of these, it would probably be the Mora. Although there's something about this one that just looks more, I don't know, rugged or woodsy, primitive. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but there's just an appeal to this knife that I've always had that I like. It reminds me of, I guess, growing up as a child in my grandmother's kitchen and the old wood-handled kitchen knives that she used, and I guess that's kind of the mystique to it. But it is an excellent knife, excellent steel, a lot of uses, and I would recommend either one. You could probably buy 2 Moras for what one of these costs, so keep that in mind. But I just thought I'd let you have a look at a couple of my everyday knives that I use when I'm outdoors doing things. And if you like this kind of video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you who watches, and we'll see you on the next video.